In this video I will recreate a German, French as well as a British artillery gun from World War I. And as I know all of you would like to see several builds in one video, I've prepared 3 different builds for all of them. Let's start with the German 15 cm schwere Feldhaubitze 13 from World War I. As you can see, it features movable tires. The most recognizable detail of this gun is the curved shield, and for sure I've included this in my model. Another important detail is the unique shape of the gun pipe, and for sure you can lift and depress the gun by moving the back part of it. And here's how the model looks when it's ready to fire. I've prepared 3 German soldiers wearing their winter greatcoats to go with the artillery gun. Let's start with the first build, and the most special thing about this whole video is that I will combine all 3 MOCs in the end of the video to one giant one. I've started building the frame of the MOC, and to separate it from the other one I've added this black border. As you probably could guess, because of the minifigures I've used, the first build is Winter War related. I've created a snowy looking hill where the Germans could hide their artillery gun. To create a smooth and natural looking landscape I've used a lot of different types of slopes and modified bricks to attach them. After nearly finishing the landscape, I've decided to add some bits of dark brown looking slopes. After that I just had to fill the small gap with white pieces. To give you a better idea how the final build will look like, I'll add the Feldhaubitze real quick. To simulate a heavy battle I've added reddish brown and dark tan colored pieces underneath the howitzer. The rest of the inside of the position is mainly white colored. Of course I had to add the dark tan and reddish brown colored details in the back of the howitzer as well. And after adding a lot of 1x2 white tiles and plates, the ground was done. To create some more texture in the trench I've decided to add one more small hill in the back. But this time I've used wedge plates and corner tiles instead of slopes to raise the landscape. To finalize the whole look of the MOC I've decided to add some small frozen plants as well as minifigures and burned out artillery shells. And here's the first of 3 builds. The next artillery piece is the most heavy one. I've recreated the 155mm French Bange cannon. It definitely had a unique shape, and I was able to recreate the superstructure of it by using hinge plates. Just as the artillery piece before, this model features a movable gun as well as tires. The reddish brown modified plates are supposed to be stairs which help the soldiers to reach the loading mount of the gun. I've originally prepared 4 French soldiers for the MOC, but I will need only 2 of them in the final build. Just as in the MOC before, I will build a trench where the artillery gun is placed. But this one will be different, and it's not supposed to take place in winter. I've prepared something in the time-lapse you just have seen before, and you will see now what I made. I've used a bunch of headlight bricks as well as brackets to create a smooth looking corner by using these cheese slopes. The use of brackets and headlight bricks allowed me to perfectly end up all the cheese slopes. Once the inner wall of the trench was done, it was time to build all the landscapes surrounding it. I've again used a lot of different slope types in the colors of dark brown and reddish brown to create a smoothly looking hill. After adding all the slopes I just had to plate and tile everything off. I've again used a mix of dark brown and reddish brown tiles and plates to cover all the dark tan and black plates. And after finishing the outer part of the trench I just had to do the same thing for the inner part of the trench, and because this is very repetitive we will skip this step real quick. To add at least some foliage to the build, I've created this dead tree using some root pieces as well as whip pieces and other reddish brown colored pieces. The build was nearly done. I just had to add some small details like these corner tiles as well as again burned out shell pieces. And the final gun is the British 13-pounder Shrapnel. Even though it's the smallest, it was definitely the most challenging of these 3 guns to build. This field gun is basically built out of a shield wheels and the pipe. My model again features all the neat details, but unfortunately the gun isn't movable because of the design of the shield. But I was able to add some tiny seats, which I'm pretty proud of. And of course, once again, the tires are movable. And here you can see both of the British soldiers, which I will use in the final build. The left one is wearing a leather jerkin. I will start the final MOC with a small path of water. I've created this by using trans black 1x2 tiles. After that I've added some dark tan wedged plates to create a smooth transition between the water and the rest of the ground. Now I just had to raise the rest of the MOC by using some plates. Now everything is prepared and we can finally start building a MOC with some more color. I've decided to build a green field with a dark tan pathway for the British gun. Whenever you create transitions between different colors of the landscape, I definitely recommend using wedged plates as I did here in this build. The mixed use of plates and tiles helps creating a smooth looking landscape. After finishing the small road, it was time to finish the rest of the build. I've again used wedge plates in green, and after filling all the gaps by using some tiles and plates, the first half of the build was done. To add even more colors to the build and create some contrast, I've decided to build a small rock in light bluish grey here at the left corner of the MOC. I've mainly used tiny wedged plates and tiles to build this, and again here's a smaller rock using the same pieces. To break the repetitive look of all the wedge plates in green, I've added some foliage pieces and the MOC was nearly done. As usual, I've added some final detail pieces like 1x1 plates and these corner tiles to end up the whole build. And to finalize the build, I've added some medium corner tiles at the sand next to the water. And here's the final build of this video, but before you go, wait until you see all 3 MOCs lined up together. I've added modified bricks with pins and holes in the side to connect all 3 sections. The idea of this whole build is to compare the situation, gear and uniforms of the French, German and British soldiers during World War I. I really liked all 3 of my builds, but seeing them all perfectly lined up together makes them even better in my opinion. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about this idea of building MOCs, and if you have some ideas, feel free to write them in the comments down below as well. And here are my most favorite shots of each build. That's it for the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and feel free to check the video visible on the screen. Bye bye.